Hello, I'm Tim of the Systainer.Store, and in this video we're going to talk about the SYS Tower. The SYS Tower is a prototype piece of shop furniture. I made this for a couple reasons. The first one is I wanted a way to demonstrate the SYS rail, or the Systainer 3 rail, without a plywood box, something that was a bit more open frame. Two, I wanted to look at using the OpenBuild's V-slot rail as a way to build some shop furniture. And three, I wanted to play around with some of the components that one can find in the Bott SmartVan, the items that Systainer Systems is now starting to sell here in the US. With those three ideas in mind, I was able to put together the SYS Tower here. Let's talk through what the SYS Tower is made out of, and then start getting into some of the details on how to make it. Though this isn't a step-by-step DIY kind of video, my goal is, though, to communicate enough of the information so that if you want to make your own SYS Tower, or variations of it, you can do that. I can imagine variations with this being, say, taller or wider. And then, of course, adjusting it for different kinds of Systainers, not just the organizers, or incorporating other Bott SmartVan components. So on the SYS Tower, I made this just below a 36-inch height so that this could fit below a counter if I wanted to. In this case, I used a Bott SmartVan shelf on the top so I could put some different components. I have a Bott bin up here. Right now I have some tools and a little first aid kit as well. It's open rack. You could set other Systainers there. They snuggle in there quite easily. This SYS Tower, I should mention, is the L size, not the M size. And that's just because I like the L organizers. They have a little bit more space for the components that I want to store. So you can see I have 5 L size organizers in here, each using the SYS rail. And then at the bottom I have a Bott drawer. This, again, is found in the SmartVan components from Systainer Systems. When I was perusing their website recently and looking at some of the different things, I was realizing that Bott and Tanos, they work together, of course, to make the Systainer rail, but that many of their components also work on that rail system. For instance, this drawer is just a smart rail. You can see the brackets down here are similar. As I understand that the SYS rail brackets are from a Vario 3 line, where these brackets are from a Module 3 line. So I've got a drawer down here to just store some consumables and hide a few odds and ends away. This tower is going to probably be used mostly for my plumbing system once I get that set up. So I'll have different shark bite parts, different crypt fittings, things like that, and maybe I'll have some of like my plumber putty and pipe dope, that sort of stuff down here in the bottom. The SYS Tower is built out of OpenBuild's components. I'll have links in the descriptions to the various components that you can get from their web shop. The main component is this extruded aluminum profile. This one here in my hand is a 20mm by 40mm profile, and it gets its name V-slot because of the shape of these slots that run down along the rail. These rails can be bought in lengths from 0.5 meter, 500mm, up to 2000mm, or 2 meters. You can cut this rail with a miter saw and a good blade. The frame of the SYS Tower here was built using both this 20 by 40 rail for the front piece and the back piece. But the side runner and these vertical and the support at the top of that vertical are built with a 40 by 40 extruded aluminum piece. There are some various parts and brackets that you'll need for building a SYS Tower or a shop piece of furniture like this. I used these 45 kind of brackets. They're too wide for that 40mm shape. And I use these in various spots. I have them here where I actually mitered at a 45 the 20 by 40 rails. So I use them here on the corners. And then also use them here on the sides for the vertical rails to keep those in place. And then this horizontal piece on the side, I then also use that bracket to hold that in place. To secure these brackets down, I used this more flat shaped T-nut. You slide these T-nuts into the rails, and then you can go in with an M5 screw. Now, different brackets require a different length M5 screws. These are all a low profile head kind of M5 screws. There is another kind of T-nut that you're welcome to use. It's a bit thicker, a bit more robust. It also slides in here as well, just as easily. And I'll link to those in the description. It should be noted, you got to take care when building this together. There's times when you need to insert some T-nuts before you close up other things. So for instance, the T-nuts that you're going to use for these brackets to hold this up, you want to put those in the rail before you clamp down these side brackets. These aren't roll-in T-nuts. They have to be slotted in from the ends. Frame, I decided to have 2 vertical posts. The purpose for this is the Systainer 3 rail from Tanos has 4 screw points on the horizontal. If I had a singular post, that means only one of those screw points would be put in there, and then you get the chance for it to be a little bit wonky if it's not tightened down or it comes loose, right? It can rock a bit. Interestingly enough, these Bott brackets that are from the Module 3 line are designed, because of the van racking, they're designed to be going on a single post. So they have 2 rows of screws so that you can vertically screw in 2 rows. I put 2 rows up then so that Systainer 3 rail can span both of the vertical supports. On the back, I should call out, I used a different bracket than these 45 brackets. I used machined aluminum corners. So screw goes down, screw goes that way, because the back here gets pretty tight and there wasn't room. On the bottom here, I used just some rubber bumper feet that I got off of Amazon, and then I used an M5 screw and some T-nuts. The first thing I did was I built this frame. As I mentioned, I did miter these corners. It was just a nice to have detail. You should take note though that it's not just a perfect 45 cut. There's actually a little bit of a 45 and a little bit of a straight edge with the way that this bracket fits in there. When building the base, what you want to do though is to make sure you get that exact perfect width. Again, the Systainer 3 rails, it's actually imprinted on the rail what that width should be. One of the things I did to make sure that I got it was, and I'll show you here in a picture, is that I put the brackets down, I put the Systainer 3 in there, and then I got my extruded aluminum, I brought it to the edge. So I kind of clamped everything together in a sandwich. That way I knew it was going to be the right. I then could start putting on the brackets and take the Systainer out from the center there, and then build my vertical rails. So I built the bottom frame. I made sure I had the T-nuts for both the feet as well as this. It should be noted that if you wanted to put casters on this, you totally could, and then you could have a rolling piece of shop furniture. I then put together the vertical rails. I cut those out on the miter saw, making sure they were all the exact same length using a stop block. Actually, I then had to slot the brackets down and slot the T-nuts over so that I could get those lined. For finishing off this product, I just put in some colored strips that you can get from Open Builds. If you look closely at the top here, you'll notice that this horizontal piece protrudes just a little bit. I plan to have some sort of black cover here, maybe something 3D printed to cap the top of this extruded aluminum rail. I'm really pleased with the techie nature that it comes out to be. And then this is nothing against plywood boxes and carcasses, and it's just I really like that black extruded aluminum look. It's kind of open frame. I'm looking forward to how this is going to improve my shop organization, and I can imagine that you could use this in your shop, or if you wanted to fit out a custom trailer, you could use extruded aluminum or even things like Unistrut in your setup. I hope this video has been inspiring to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe and bell notification because I want to bring out some more videos of both new products that Tanos and Systainer Systems are launching, but also prototype builds like this one. I'm Tim of the Systainer Store. Make it a great day.